Girl, I just wanna fly you away from here. I just wanna fly you away from here. I just wanna fly you away from here. I just wanna fly you away from here.
This is Craft and Conversation, your Arkansas Artist Radio Showcase on 88.3 KABF, the voice of the people.
Flying, flying. Girl, pack a bag, let's take a trip. Brand new scene, escape the skits, the trials and trips, and make you sick. Stay a while or make it quick. Take some pictures, make a flick. Your face, your lips, the shape of your hips are some of the reasons I make these trips. Let's start over with our relationship. You call me your king, well you my crown. It's more than your smile, it's even your frown. You don't let anything hold you down. I do anything, let me hold you down. By now I know you know my style.
Good morning, good morning, good morning, Little Rock, Arkansas. Thank you for listening in. We just got through talking with Tony Orr about the workers. Now we have somebody else here, Miss Zacil Nash, who is at the heart of what Craft and Conversations is all about, working with the community and happiness and wonderful. How are you doing this morning?
I'm doing great, thank you.
Thank you. So, Ms. Zacil, tell us a little bit about who you are before we get started.
I'm Zacil Nash. I'm 31 years old. I'm originally from Mexico, the Yucatan area. I moved here to America like 13 years ago. Joined the military, moved to Texas, Virginia. Then I got out of the military, moved to North Carolina, and then I came back here to Arkansas where my family lives. I currently am a residential volunteer at Heifer Ranch in Perryville, Arkansas. I've been involved with the organization for about 6 years. I love the mission. I love the work. I love that they work with communities, and also they're involved here in the United States and here in Arkansas as well. I consider myself an artist because I am a writer. I'm involved in theater here in Little Rock. And also, I'm a painter, and I guess that's qualifications enough to be an artist.
Yes, that is qualifications enough to be an artist. Well, so you just have all these different talents and have done a lot. So let's start, I guess, at the beginning. How did you end up moving from Mexico back to America?
My mom is originally from Wisconsin, and she traveled around the world, and then she discovered this small town in Yucatan, and she fell in love with it. So that's where we were born and we were raised. And after I graduated high school, I felt it was time for me to come to America. And one of the reasons why I joined the military is because I felt like I owe America my time and my service. Therefore, I did that. I went to service for America.
Which branch did you join?
I was in the U.S. Air Force.
Oh, you're in the Air Force? Okay. And you say we, so you have siblings?
Yes, I have two siblings. They're older than me. So I'm the baby.
Oh, so I'm the baby too. So you got spoiled as a child, or at least you got what they didn't get.
I learned fast because they will get punished, and I behaved better because I knew what to expect from my mother.
Exactly. Okay, that's good. So you lived in Mexico with your family, and then they moved back to Arkansas, or did you move back to Wisconsin?
We moved to Arkansas because my mom had a friend that she met in Mexico that is from Arkansas. So that's how we ended up in Arkansas.
Okay. And then from there, you graduated high school and you decided, I'm going to go to the Air Force.
Yes.
Because I owe my country. And then you came back and you moved to North Carolina. And what were you doing there?
I was just looking for a job, and it didn't work out. I was a school aide while I was there.
Okay.
Pretty much volunteer because I was not getting paid. But I really enjoy working with children. I was working with second graders, which was it was a joy to work with them. And I came back to Little Rock and I started working at the daycare center, and it was also great to work with them. And I started to go to school to become a teacher, but it didn't work out because being English as a second language student, I couldn't pass the writing part of the practice.
Okay.
So I couldn't get into the teaching program.
Okay.
Which is funny. I wrote a book. And
Yes.
I couldn't pass the writing part of the test. Yes, but then life went on, and I went back to school to get a master's degree in Spanish literature and language.
Okay.
I decided for that degree because I thought, oh, Spanish, that's easy. And then I got there, of course, and it is all about literature, and you have to read all these books, and you have to analyze them and talk about them and learn what the writer was trying to say. And in all these different examples of writing, because I studied Latin America writers and Spanish from Spain writers, and also you get the influence of the American writers and the English writers. So there's a lot of, I learned a lot from that class, from those classes, from that degree, that I wanted to do that myself as well.
Okay. And so as a writer, you've written 2 books now?
This is the first one that is being published.
Okay.
I've written another one that was not published, but I'll work on that later.
Well, the first book to be published is called How Theater Saved My Life. And the title is relatively self-explanatory, yes?
Yes. It's really based on my story, my life story, but with other stories in there to make it a better story.
Right.
Because life is not perfect, but a book can be. In print, life can be more perfect. So it's really inspired on one event that happened to me at the Weekend Theater in Little Rock. And when I went to see a play that meant the world to me, because when you see a play that speaks to you, you want to see it more than one time. You want to be really part of it.
Right.
And I found out about auditions late, when they already had the cast and everything. So the only way I could be part of that show is to go and to see it so many times, as many times as I could, and sitting in the front. So I finally went to see that show 7 times. And of course, the cast, was intrigued. Who's that girl that's being here so many
7
times, sitting in the front? So they pull me on stage without even knowing my name. They pull me on stage and they make me sing the finale with them.
Oh, wow.
So that moment is still, I just got chills. That moment still like one of the greatest moments of my life, because I was part, like really, not only in my heart or my mind, but I was physically part of a musical that means everything to me.
Right.
And so that moment is what inspired this book to be more than what you can be, because you are yourself and you show yourself to the world, and the world embraces you for who you are. So that's the heart of this book, that experience. And of course it adds more experience. There's a love story, because everybody loves a love story. So that is how theater saved my life, because sometimes we get too distracted with the problems that we have, and we have really great tools around us, like the theater, where we can see our problems perform on stage.
Right.
Or there's also running stories here, where we can see, we can get those bad feelings out of us by doing exercise, by running, by any kind of exercise you're out there doing. You can get those endorphins and be happier.
Right.
So there's also many running stories. If you want to start running and you're already running, if you're a slow runner or a fast runner, you read these stories, you are there. You know how it feels to be on the road. I'm a marathoner. I've run.
Right. I saw that. You run.
I've finished like 23 marathons so far and
Right.
19 half marathons. So I know what it is to be on the road.
That
I
is
know.
hundreds of miles. Power to you.
Thanks. So one of my cousins read the book and she's just starting to run.
Okay.
She will be running her first half marathon in February. And she's like, this really helps because she was getting a lot of anxiety thinking, oh, what if this happens?
Right.
What if that happens? So there's so many what ifs in this book that as a runner, you can be like, I'm going to be okay. I just
Right.
have to trust myself and do it because, it's great and I can do it and I can be this more wonderful person that I can be.
Right.
And it's that's what I like about this book because it's not only about what you can do as one person, but also what you can do with a community.
Right.
And I feel like the community is a really important part of anyone's life, and being part of it, being empowered by this community for your own self is a great thing.
Right. And now you're actually a part of the weekend theater community. Before that moment, and what was the name of the play that inspired you so much?
Rent.
Oh, Rent. I love Rent.
I love this book.
I absolutely love Rent. Okay, so they did Rent at the Weekend Theater, and they had you do the final song with them. And at that moment, you were like, did you feel like you found your place, or you knew what you should be doing, or what was that feeling like?
That moment when I was on stage holding hands and singing the finale, it was not a human moment. It was out of this world. I was flying high. I was touching the sky. I was part of the sun. It was mystical. It was more than I can be. I was glowing, I'm sure. And I didn't know how to feel. I was so happy. I was so excited. I wanted to cry. I wanted to laugh. I couldn't do both at the same time.
Right.
It was too much to bear for one simple human to bear. It was a great moment. After that, since everybody didn't know my name, like, oh yeah, you. I was coming more as a volunteer for house manager in the bar, and people would recognize me. People would like, hey, you're the girl that was on stage. I'm like, yes, that's me. and then slowly, it's describing the book, all that theater story is pretty truth, how I got involved. And it feels great to be part of it. Like I was in a building last week, and a building I haven't been in a long time when I was working in theater. And just being in that building, remembering all those moments, working with artists, performing artists, and taking care of the crew, and planning this event, these shows, just feeling it. I describe it as being part of the building.
Okay.
There was electricity on my veins, and it was direct current energy because I was part of the building. Usually when I'm in the show and I get energy from the actors is the AC current because it comes from everywhere.
Right.
And it's like I start to vibrate because there's energy from everywhere and I don't know where it comes from. But when I was in that building, I was like, wow, I do belong.
Right.
It's not just something that I really like to do or really enjoy to do, but I feel like I belong in the theater community.
Wow. That's a beautiful thing. And I can definitely tell that you're a writer just by the way you describe your vocabulary. It's just so vivid and it paints the picture phenomenally. But so now you're here. Now you found your building. You're a part of this theater network. Did you ever think, like as a child or when you were in the military, that you would be here, that you would have a book called how theater saved my life. That's not only just something that you're proud of, but also something that other people are reading and you're inspiring them.
Never, never. I always wanted to write. I felt it, like you have that thing in your heart that is telling you, but I could never really write.
Okay.
Like I will try to write journals and just describe what happened to me that day, or if I went to a trip, describe it. I could never do that.
Okay.
I feel like my writing is like wine. You had to let it sit for a while, and then it's really good. But I never. I always hope it was a dream, but not something that I want to pursue.
Okay.
And with the theater world, that was not even a dream, not even a fantasy. I was not involved in theater in high school. There was no theater companies in my hometown. So in the Air Force, I never heard of performances. I'm like, New York to me was New York with Central Park, the Yankees, and everything else, but no Broadway. I had no idea what Broadway was. Maybe heard about it, but not care about it.
Right.
And then now I'm here in this world when theater is part of who I am, and I'm like, where did this come from? It was not like a childhood dream, which I am very jealous of all those children that go to the children's theater or are involved really early in their lives in this theatrical world, either by performing or being part of it as an audience member.
Right.
I am so jealous of everybody that is getting a degree in theater because I wish I knew earlier in my life to pursue that.
Right. But even though you didn't do that, you're still a part of it, and it still makes you happy.
Yes, which is great.
So with that, you said that you paint. So how did painting come about?
Painting came part of the theatrical. I guess theater started this flame of the artist in me. And at the time I was talking to a painter and I told her that I really would like to paint, but I don't think it's in my hand. And she's like, if you can see it, you can paint it. And I'm seeing pictures in my head and I'm like, okay, I'll
paint that.
I'll give it a try. So I painted my first paint was a black figure that represented me, my inner fears and my inner self, and there around it like an explosion of color with each color representing something. Like purple will be my school, which I was going to UCA. Red and black would represent the theater, which are, when you go inside the weekend theater, those are the colors that you see. Green and orange will represent Heifer, which I was volunteering, also working there for a while. So that was part of my life. So all these explosions coming from inside of me, becoming who I am on the outside. Even if sometimes in the inside we fear who we are, outside is where people really see our colors.
Right.
So that's kind of what represented.
Wow, that's beautiful.
Thanks.
Just thinking about that, and it's just so visual, and I don't know. I'm taken aback right now.
And the one on the cover of the book that is my second painting. When I was working my first show, I was on the backstage of the theater, and I will watch the actors go on stage. And that was my place, to be backstage, to see those steps going up to the stage, to see those curtains close and hide the light of the stage. And that was one of the most beautiful places I ever been, because I was there to support the actors, to help them in whatever they need, to hold a jacket when they throw it because they have to go back on stage and they don't supposed to have the jacket. I was there for them. If somebody needed me to hold their hand while they come down the stairs because they were in high heels, I was there for them. So even being in the dark this glimpse of light that comes from in between the curtains represents that the light of life, to be part of something. Even if you're in the dark, there is light in your life.
Wow. You're amazing. I just have to say that. You are amazing.
Thank you.
But, wow. So, are most of your paintings about theater, or do they just whatever you're feeling? Or
they're mostly about what I feel in the moment. I haven't really painted lately, but I don't like to paint what I see unless it means something important to me.
Okay.
If it's something that I am staring at a lot, and while I'm staring at those things, something happens, then it's meaningful. I gave a painting to a friend. It was a cenote, which is an underground pool. And I liked that painting. It was a watercolor painting, and she really appreciated it because she's from Germany. So us being friends, she being from Germany, I'm being from Mexico, and me giving her something that represents what Mexico is, and it's like colliding all these cultural aspects of us being friends, so she can take that as taking a part of me, taking a part of who I am, where I come from, what my area of the country is known for, and take a part of who I am with her.
Okay, right. Do you only paint like on easels, or do you also paint, I don't know, vases or like other objects, or is it just on
I've only done canvases.
canvas? Okay. Yeah. Do you ever think you're going to expand to anything else, or just canvas?
I don't know.
We'll see.
Yes, if time permitted, I would like to take a class because also painting was not something that I planned for.
Right.
So I didn't go to school for it, or didn't, I was not raised on it. So it's something that I discover on my own and that I really enjoy.
Right.
I love having my fingers stained with oil paint. And so I would like to learn more about it, learn the techniques, not only what my eye sees or what my heart feels, but also what are the rules of painting.
Right. Yes, I understand. I actually I dabble in paint a little bit. I have a thing where I paint styrofoam mannequin heads. And I create these kinds of, I don't know, I have one that's like she's a camouflage girl. So she's green, and then she has different browns and blacks, and she's blending in.
Nice.
So that's my thing with painting, and it's acrylic paint. I tried using oil paints. It's not my thing. It's a headache for me anyway. It doesn't move like watercolor or acrylic.
Yes, I do like oil because it's very forgiving. You can take it off if you don't like it.
Okay.
But it's also like you have to wait a long time for it to dry. And so you cannot move on with the next step because you're waiting on that. But it's also, I like the texture of the oil. And I will say oil is my favorite.
Okay.
I do like acrylics, but I love the texture of the oil.
Okay. Wow. This is great. So you're a writer, and you had dreams of writing, but you didn't think it would come to this as it is today. You never thought you'd be in theater. Do you ever think you're going to get on stage?
No.
No?
No.
Okay. Well, theater needs everyone, but
yes. I think I would like to be on stage just to know what it feels like.
Right.
I've been to one show on stage, but it was like half of the second act I did not have any lines, and I was just standing there, so it was not like the full experience. I would like to have lines. I would like to memorize them, to feel them, to act out on them, but just for that experience, just to know what it feels like. But I don't want to pursue that.
Right.
The stage is not my favorite place. I love the backstage. I love to be in that support, to be the assistant, to help accomplish the goal.
Right. Okay. And then, so we have, what do we get? We said painting? No.
Writing.
Writing. There we go. Thank you. See? Always assisting. Writing, act or theater, and painting. But you also do Heifer Farms. Now tell us a little bit about what that is and what you do with them.
All right. Heifer is a non-for-profit organization whose mission is to end hunger and poverty and caring for the earth while working with communities around the world providing livestock and training.
Okay.
Our headquarters building is located here in downtown Little Rock on 3rd Street and World Avenue by 3rd Street. And there's also a learning center there, Heifer Village. Heifer Ranch is in Perryville, Arkansas. It's been there since 1971. And in the 1990s, it became an educational facility. I am currently a residential volunteer, and I'm on education, which I lead or facilitate field trips and overnight experiences at the ranch, just teaching people about hunger and poverty in other places around the world, and helping get the idea of how we can all work together to accomplish this goal.
Okay. So you have parts of you everywhere. You have your Spanish and literature, but then that also still ties into your writing, which led to your theater. And so how did you ever get to Heifer Farms? Like, why was that one of the things that you wanted to do?
Ooh, good question. I don't know, because I love it so much.
You love it?
I believe that the mission. I believe in the mission. I grew up, I could say, in Mexico, and we were not wealthy. We could be considered poor, but there were a lot of people within 5 miles away from me that saw us as really wealthy. So that really blew my mind. I couldn't believe if I skipped one meal because we didn't have enough money to eat. There were people that were not eating at all. And that really hurt me. And I say there should be a solution. I know there is a solution. So while I was in Virginia, I got a gift catalog, and I learned about heifer, and I'm like, that's the solution. That's the way to go. So, and then I found out that the headquarters is here in Little Rock, and that's where I started volunteering. And I would like to get a job there someday.
Well, that is great. You, Zacil, are amazing. We are almost out of time, but do you have any last words for the audience?
Really? Well, yeah, if you would like to buy the book, is available in Amazon, Barnes & Nobles, of course, online. It's also available in the Kindle version.
Yes. And
is available for Prime customers on Amazon to borrow for free. So the book is out there. There's no excuses not to read it.
Yes. And also, if you don't want to take the time to look it up, you can go to craftandconversation.com, and a direct link to her book is on the website.
Nice.
Yes.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So that is almost it, Little Rock. But thank you, as always, for listening and tuning in. And we will see you next week.
You're listening to KABF 88.3, the voice of the people.
Hi, this is Clyde. This is KABF's Pledge Drive, and we need your support. As a non-commercial, non-profit radio station, we rely on listeners' contributions to help sustain programs on KABF. So please call now with your pledge of support. 433-0088. Your donation, no matter the size, will make a difference. You know, our listeners are our most important source of income. So we're here today to enlist your support for the programs you enjoy on KABF. Your support and contributions are our most significant source of income. So please call now with your pledge, 433-0088. You can also mail your donation to KABF at 2101 South Main Street, Little Rock, Arkansas 72206. And as always, thank you for your support.